This is Aska Tanveer with Cries of Kashmir. The world has progressed significantly since 1947. People today enjoy greater opportunities and a more comfortable life, while investors, traders, and entrepreneurs thrive in a globalized free market. Travel has become more accessible, international stakeholders are more interconnected than ever, and institutions like the United Nations wield greater influence. Yet, despite this progress, a land often called heaven on earth, spanning approximately 92,782 square kilometers, remains engulfed in suffering. The people of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir continue to endure daily brutality, their plight largely ignored by the global community. Kashmir is one of the most militarized regions in the world where repression and human rights violations persist with alarming regularity. 5th of February, that is observed as Kashmir Solidarity Day, serves as a solemn reminder of the sacrifices made by the martyrs of the Kashmiri freedom movement. Meanwhile, the world's largest democracy stands accused of orchestrating a demographic shift seeking to reduce the Muslim majority in Kashmir to a minority through systematic oppression. The Kashmir dispute has remained unresolved since 1947, making it one of the longest standing conflicts on the United Nations agenda. Before 1990, there was no official day dedicated to the Kashmir cause. Since then, the Kashmir Solidarity Day is being observed nationwide, bringing much needed global attention and to the struggle of self determination. This initiative marks an important step in highlighting the Kashmir people right to freedom and justice. Pakistanis, having lived alongside India for decades before partition, understand India's ideological foundations better than most. The two nations have fought 3 wars, two of them over Kashmir, underscoring Pakistan's deep-rooted historical, religious, cultural, and geographical ties to the region. The Kashmir Valley, home to a Muslim majority population, remains under brutal occupation by Indian forces who continue to violate the fundamental rights of Kashmiris, including their right to self-determination, freedom of speech, and property ownership. Pakistan has consistently championed the Kashmiri cause on global platforms, increasing their voices at international forums given the restrictions on free media in Kashmir. India disregards United Nations Security Council resolutions UNSCR and UNSCR 112/1957 that explicitly mandate that any change in Jammu and Kashmir status must be reported to the Security Council, and that unilateral alterations by Kashmir authorities do not determine the region's financial disposition. India's global image as a secular democracy has crumbled under its embrace of Hindutva ideology, which promotes Hindu supremacy at the cost of minority rights. Under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government, this ideology has fueled ethnic cleansing and systematic oppression. The abrogation of Article 370 and 35A, which stripped Kashmir of its special status, was a blatant attempt to alter the region's demographics. The Bharatiya Janata Party has facilitated the forced acquisition of Kashmiri land, granted voting rights to outsiders for the political gain, and encouraged Hindu settlements in Kashmir. Policies explicitly prohibited in Azad Jammu and Kashmir, where non-residents cannot purchase property. Pakistan continues to highlight Kashmir's plight at global forums, such as the United Nations General Assembly, the Human Rights Council, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Through persistent diplomatic efforts, Pakistan has kept the issue alive, railing Muslim nations to support the Kashmiri struggle. Meanwhile, Kashmiris remain steadfast in the pursuit of freedom despite enduring some of the world's worst human rights violations. Extrajudicial killings, enforced disappearances, and sexual violence are rampant. Night raids, arbitrary detentions, and curfews have become routine. Freedom fighters are labeled as terrorists, but in reality, they are resisting a brutal occupation. The Kashmir dispute is not an internal matter of India. It is a human rights crisis that demands international intervention. Major global actors, including the United Nations and the European Union, often present themselves as champions of human rights, yet they turn a blind eye to the daily atrocities in Kashmir. This selective ignorance, driven by economic and strategic interest, has become a major obstacle to resolve the conflict. The world today is increasingly realist. Liberal institutions are used more for political leverage than for genuine humanitarian concerns. The Kashmir struggle must not be confined by a single day of solidarity. In today's digital age, leveraging social media is crucial to exposing the reality of Indian occupation rather than limiting awareness to school seminars and public holidays. Efforts must focus on mobilizing global opinion. Number matters. The louder the collective voice, the harder it becomes to ignore.